Good evening, everybody. Michael Filighera here. I am with logicalsignals.com and also tradershelpingtraders.com. And this is the third installment for Bitcoin Meets Elliott Wave, and it's on September the 7th, 2021. As where I left off over the weekend, or on my last update, which was last week, was that Bitcoin seemed to have put in a minor fourth wave low, and that would have been back in June, and that we were working through what would be a minor fifth wave up. And within that, we would need to track out or trace out 5 waves of minute degree. And as the last update indicated, we had minute wave 1, 2, and 3 complete, but I put the 3 here versus this, and then had put what I felt could have been minor wave 4 here. And it looked like we would have been in the minute fifth wave up. And that would, of course, be expected to have taken out that previous high at 50,585, and then on upwards of moving towards new highs above what we've already seen back in April at 65,520. Now, on the way, we seem to have switched it up just a little bit. And so I have updated this count on the daily chart. And now I'm going to move it to our 4-hour chart, which is going to show you that the high over the weekend, or within that, actually yesterday's globex session, came in at 50,315. And then we came in this morning and it basically held pretty high levels. It stayed, I think, between 51,000 and 53,000. But then suddenly it just started to let go and it just started to drop. And at one point was down over $5,000 before it started to recover. Now, there was a couple of news stories that came out, and one was that today was the day that El Salvador officially made Bitcoin as a means to make payments. And so they had been buying, and that was what at least what the news were saying, that helped to propel the market back up to the high that we saw over the weekend. And that was in preparation for El Salvador putting this on as legal tender in their country. And so when that was announced that that was now firmly in place, it was a buy the rumor, sell the news. And that actually fit because it got pretty intense and the market did drop to 40, what it got down to 43,705. And considering that that was actually $10,000. Nearly $10,000 from the high, which was done yesterday. So it was quite a steep decline, and it really shook things up. I also heard today that there was the possibility that it was reflecting a Chinese brokerage house, similar to what happened here in the United States in 2008 when Lehman Brothers went down. Lehman Brothers went under, Bear Stearns went under, and that's what the news story was basically saying, that there was a major Chinese brokerage firm or merchant bank that went under, and boom, caused this great slide in Bitcoin, and also across the spectrum. All of the cryptocurrencies really took a pretty severe hit today. Now, I then translated this and put it into Elliott wave terms, and what I need to really talk about today is that Elliott wave does not take fundamentals into consideration when you are making a count. It really is a measurement of human behavior, psychological moves. So our psychology, our enthusiasm, our fear, different things that kind of come into a marketplace and can provide a mass move. So today it was, moving down, and it was fear. Now, so where does that fit in? Well, if indeed this did complete a minute 3, then we would be looking for a minute fourth wave. Now, characteristically, fourth waves normally can be more flat than sharp, like this one. This was a sharp, quick move down. And let me just break that down, and let's take a look at the hourly chart and pull it open and see why my computer insists on not doing what I want it to do. So get rid of that. And yeah, we do have a little bit better. So you can see on the hourly, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, we could do a 5 and then a B and then a C. And so it's very strange to kind of think what exactly took place here. And so I am going to give it the benefit of the doubt and believe that that was all of 4. And it was just a sharp boom, straight down, over, done. The recovery after it was down over $5,000 to being down 2,600 was very fast and very strong and did not take much time. And in the process, on our hourly chart, formed a pretty strong bottoming tail. Now, could that bottoming tail be engulfed again in terms of another severe decline? Yes. And I think it may show up as a topping tail, but that's not in place yet. So I want to go back out to that 4-hour chart, and I want to just take in a measurement. So we're going to take a look at on Fibonacci retracements now to see what we can expect from a fourth wave if we were just going to measure that without this decline. And so we go from the bottom of wave 2 to 29,000. There, and then we bring it up to here. 50. There we go. I'll put it right there. My computers are just acting so weird today. Sorry. We're going to add this drawing again. The computers don't want to do anything right today. They're just acting up. Come on, put it in there for me, will you please? That one. Now I want to go up to 15,120. Okay, good. So now I want you to look, because the most common retracement for a fourth wave correction is that it's going to be 0.382 times the length of wave 3, and or retrace 38.2% of wave 3. And that number was 43,929. Now, today's low was 43,705. So it did come down an additional $200, but when you're talking in $10,000, minuscule. It basically held 0.382 support. Came in and rallied strongly off of that level. So what does that mean? It could possibly mean that we have a completion point for a minute fourth wave. And then what does that tell us? It tells us that the rally is going to pick up again. Now, how hard could the rally get if we're now looking for a minute fifth wave up to complete minor wave 5? So the first thing that I want to throw up there now is let's go back out to the daily chart. And first I'm going to take off our retracement levels, okay? And well, let me finish that conversation. You bear with me, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. So let's go back down to the 4-hour chart. If indeed this is just wave A, and now we're just working through a B wave, right? Because corrective process. Impulse waves are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 2 corrects wave 1. Wave 4 corrects wave 3. Those corrective waves are going to come in an ABC fashion. Now, we do have a rule of alternation, which basically tells us if this was sharp, this should be flat. And if that's the case, then this thing could rally all the way back to 53,000, that high, 125, and then sink again to 43,929. That would produce a flat correction. If it's going to be a sharp correction, which it can, it's the rule of alternation, and it does not necessarily have to hold true every single time. So we basically could see this was a sharp ABC down. That's what's most important, that it has to be ABC. If it's just if this is going to end up just being a 5-wave structure down, then no. 5 waves down never ever completes an entire correction. So I'd have to work it. If it's going to continue to rally, I'd have to work this as a 3-wave structure down. Otherwise, we're going to get a B wave. And let me try to open this up again. Come on, work for me this time. I need to see a B wave, and then it's going to come down in the C. Now, if it's going to come down in the C wave, then I'm looking for a B wave to probably come back upward about 47, maybe as high as 49,000, back up to the 200, and then drop again. But if I'm going to count this as ABC, then that's complete. Then it should just start to climb. We really should not see a whole lot of futzing around. A B wave can rally, but slow, do jerk movements, come down, rally, there's a lot of different forms that it can take. And we'd have to wait and allow the market to tell us. So you can see it kind of does appear that it may be done a B, and now it's just kind of, staying within a pretty tight range there. And now you can see it even more. And this would kind of tell me that we're getting some type of a B wave triangle, diagonal triangle within the B wave. So this is an A, that's A of B, and this is going to be B of B, and it's turning into a triangle, which would resolve to the upside, by the way. If this is a B, then I'm looking for a C up. And if this is a triangle, which it pretty much does look like if that's what's happening, then it's going to thrust higher. So we're going to get, I need to try to count this out. A, B, C, D, could be, this has got to be the D, and now we're going to do an E wave down and then thrust up. That would be the case, but it would thrust up to start the C of B, right? So B wave is always going to be a 3-wave structure, A, B, C, or a series of 3-wave structures. Triangle is a series of 3-wave structures. And that's what has to happen. So this is going to take a little bit more time. If this is indeed complete, then this should still resolve to the upside and keep moving. So we've got to let the market tell us. We can put in parameters around it. Right now, we'd be working on this is on the 15-minute chart. You've got the 20-day moving average at 47,175. Then we have the 50 at 48,362. These are resistance points. And then we have the 200 at 50,243. It could rally all the way back up there and still turn around and dump all the way back down to 43,929. So it has its work cut out with it to kind of show us what this near-term direction is going to be and how it's all going to play out. So where do I want to leave this? It's going to be a little bit more difficult until all of this corrective nonsense has been filtered out, filtered in to what needs to take place. And so I think that it's going to have to make itself more apparent in terms of, traders willing to kind of step back in and start taking longs again. There was a direct correlation in terms of the increase in volume. There was a lot of people getting out. So being that this is a very, all of the cryptos are pretty large, institutionally traded, but they're also very big on a retail level for people coming in. So Bitcoin might start to move where we will see Ethereum, we will see Dash, we will see Tether, we will see a lot of the Solandra, all of the different coins out there that may move larger. So in percentage terms, they'll move larger. It's going to take a lot longer to turn this boat around because it's so big. It's a big contract. It's a lot of money. And so you probably saw people getting smacked. And this is on an institutional level, getting smacked with margin calls and et cetera, et cetera. So a lot did happen today and it got pretty severe. So I am going to kind of leave space for this to be an ABC. And so we've got to let the market tell us. I'll keep an eye on it and I will continue to make updates. I will try not to leave as much space in between these updates to see where we get to and then what our next step would be. If indeed this did complete it, which it could have. Remember, it already came down to the most common level. And that was right there. Got down to 43,929, exceeded it by a couple $100. But when you're talking about $43,000, that's minuscule in terms of that break below that support, because it immediately retook that support and didn't look back. When it immediately moved back above that support, back above the 200, that's all pretty positive that that low should last. Right. So we may continue to see rally. Use your moving averages. Those are going to guide you and put you into entry exit levels. So those would be resistance again on the way back up. Now, if I'm going to have to take this off because now I want to show what we can have in terms of an upside move. If this indeed did complete that fourth wave, now we can start putting a measurement on to see what that fifth wave could look like. And so the first thing I'm going to do is change this because I want to now put on Fibonacci Extensions. And let me open this up so I can get in there. Let me get to the bottom of wave 2. Thing sometimes just doesn't. There we go. Up to the top of wave 3 and down to the bottom of this fourth wave as we see it. 705, 705. I'll put it right there. That's not going to be good enough. So I'm going to go in and correct that just so I can make this as clean as possible. 705. Okay, 125, yeah, 6, those all look good. Okay, so here we have what we could expect from a minute fifth wave. So here we have 382 is 52,898. Then 50%, this would be minute 5 is 50% of minute 3, 55,738, 58,577, etc. Now, what really counts is this one, because minute wave 5 to complete minor wave 5 should take out the high of minor wave 3, and that's at 65,520. Minute wave 5 would be 100% of minute 3 at 67,770. If it really starts to subdivide, as we saw here in the third wave, not uncommon. So here's the other rule. Wave 3 is most often the longest and the strongest wave within a 5-wave sequence. What it cannot be is it cannot be the shortest wave. Out of 1, 3, and 5, it cannot be the shortest wave. But right now, we can see wave 1 is the shortest wave. So wave 3 would not. So that allows wave 5 to extend as often as it wants and get up into these upper levels. So yes, once this rally gets going, these levels do come into play, and they are fairly realistic for the type of move you'd be looking for. Now, we're going to go back out to the weekly chart, because now I want to put in for minor wave 5, We have minute 5. Now let's take a look at minor wave 5. Again, we're going to use extensions. And it goes from there, and we're going to go up to here. And then we bring it back down to the bottom of wave 4, right there. Now, let's take this back down again to that 4-hour chart, and let's see what minor wave 5 could look like. And I'll clean that up a little bit later. So, but these, because these are going to just be estimates. So here are those. This is minute, and here we have minor. So the most common relationship between a 5th wave and the 3rd wave is that they'll equal 0.618 times that length. So wave 5 would be 618 of wave 3. That's at 66,473. New high, so that works. Now, the next most common, well, I'm going to go out to that weekly chart on this one because that's going to really kind of screw up my chart, is that it's 100%. That would be that minor wave 5 is 100% of minor wave 3, and that's at 67,700. It also could extend. And then we start getting up into these upper levels. So there's still plenty of rally to come once we get wave 4 complete. And what do we need to look up for here? Again, that wave 4 is still underway, that we still have additional downside, and that we could end up back down towards that today's low of 43,705. And I would suspect that wave B is going to meander around. It is going to be inside, and we're going to work our way higher, lower, higher, lower. And once that internal B wave is done, remember that wave 4 is consisted of an A, B, and a C wave. And if we're still in wave B now, then we're still going to be looking for a C wave decline, right? A down, in this case, down, B up, and C down. So it's a counter trend move. So the trend remains up. The trend remains bullish. It's a bull trend. This is a correction within that bull trend. And so these are counter trend moves. So the A wave is counter trend. The B wave is also counter trend because it's a rally within the decline. And then the C wave again is a counter trend to the upside, but it's going to be to the, it's a counter trend move to the upside move that's in progress. So we have now what we can expect over the next couple of days. I think the market's going to have to settle itself down a little bit. That type of volatility is not as common to the downside as it is to the upside. So I think we need to allow that to kind of settle down a little bit. So we may continue to see some pretty fast moves. Now, how you want to translate this into your individual, if you're playing Ethereum, if you're playing Litecoin, if you're playing one of the lesser expensive markets than Bitcoin, you can make adjustments, but it's going to be the same structures that you'll find. But right now, I'm just sticking with Bitcoin. I have not collected enough data to start putting together wave counts for, again, for the less expensive coins. So for right now, this is where I'm going to leave all of this for today. And hopefully I'll try to make another update towards the end of this week, just to see how this all plays out over the next couple of days. So the next update will likely be over the weekend. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and happy trading.